Hey Ray, hey everybody, what's going on? Good afternoon. Oh, got my drinks in the way here. Rearrange. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Let's share the fun here. There we go. Welcome to 30 minutes of awesome. I started just a minute early, trying to get everybody in the door. Welcome. Now, if you want to chat with me, if you want to make requests during the stream, you need to make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Just a few seconds later, you will be able to chat, but only while I'm live. If you're watching this on a replay, you'll have to leave me a message in the comments below, or come join me in Discord. The link's in the description down there, and you come chat with me that way. So those are the ways to communicate with me. And what we have on tap today. Hey Dex, glad to have you. What we have on tap today, May 23rd. I don't know why that says 22nd. Is the 23rd. May 23rd, 2023. Is the market in a breakout, or did we have a fake out? Looks like maybe a little bit of both. Then on Thursday, we have GDP numbers coming up. Preliminary GDP for Q1. Is that going to be a pop or is it going to be a drop? I don't know. We're going to see. And we'll talk about it a little bit. And then, of course, 30 minutes of your requests will be next after that. So let's talk about the markets. Do a little welcome. It's not quite 5 o'clock. Give everybody just a minute more to join the stream. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good day? Anybody get caught unaware by the NQ pullback? Almost exactly to the level I said this morning. If you missed that, make sure you go catch that stream after this one. I pretty much nailed it. Not trying to brag, Of course, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. I may never call anything right again, but, I keep nailing them, so y'all keep coming back. And about 10 more seconds, so let's go ahead and roll into the disclaimer. Hey, Goose. How you doing, my buddy? And so all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire that personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. Has a fiduciary duty to give you good advice based on your financial situation. And I don't know, financial advisors, you wouldn't be here if they were able to take care of you, right? Hey, Alan, glad to have you. Glad to have everybody. Kimberly is in Midland, Texas, on her way, out there. Me and the boys flying out Thursday sometime. So I'll be traveling Thursday, Friday, be funeral time, and then Saturday I'll be on the way back. Monday, I'll probably go live for a special crypto update in the markets. Even though we're on Memorial Day, crypto will be moving. Probably do a special crypto thing. And, so that's the outlook for the week. All right. Let's look at the calendar here. We've got this week right here, rolling on down. Wednesday, tomorrow, we've got Treasury Secretary Yellen speaking, and then we've got FOMC meeting minutes hitting at 2 p.m. Now, a lot of people are scared of the meeting minutes. Sometimes it can be volatile, especially if something was noted in the minutes that didn't get said. Usually, Powell's pretty good about saying all the things that they cover in the minutes, but during his FOMC meeting his post speech or whatever. And sometimes they get a little surprised and it causes volatility. So make sure you're aware that 2 p.m. if you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? Why is there volatility at 2 p.m. tomorrow? Yeah, Goose is Goose is my friend. I'm a Top Gun Options member too. I'm a lifetime member over there. So if you didn't know, I am part of the team at the Top Gun Options. All right. Moving on down the list. Preliminary GDP, unemployment claims on Thursday. This is the headline here that I was talking about right here. GDP numbers right here. Right there. GDP numbers coming out Thursday. Cautious. That can be some volatile numbers right there. All right. If we're coming in light, or right now we're expecting a 1.1%. If we come in light or even negative, watch out, baby. If we come in really heavy, though, that's going to indicate more rate raises ahead. So this can also lead to some volatility here. Unemployment claims, we're just getting back to normal on that, really. When you look at the hysterical chart on this thing, if we zoom back out, pre-COVID, it's going to take a little more pre-COVID here. Look, I mean, we just kind of hung out right down there, and despite everybody like, oh my gosh, it rose 50,000, it dropped 50,000. Like, come on. I mean, we hover the size of our economy. We churn about 300,000 jobs every month. I mean, there's that many idiots that get fired. Think about it. I mean, you can practically talk to anybody you know, and they know some idiot kid, grandkid, son, daughter, cousin, whatever, they got fired this week. I mean, it's like every week. So back to normal on the job churning. 247,000, that's kind of light. 300,000, was pretty typical back here. Look, I mean, right back here, 300,000. That's a pretty typical churn in our economy. It just is. You're not going to have much less than that. So we're kind of back to normal is what I would say. We weren't back to normal, and now it's taken a while, but we've gotten pretty much back to normal on the jobs. Hey, there's Sledge. There's Patrick. Steve. I take it you're from TGO. You may recognize Patrick. Sledge. Goose. We have a few more that show up too. So, all friends of mine. All right. Core PCE coming out on Friday. This is the Fed's favorite number right here. This is Jerome Powell's favorite number. This is one to watch. If it comes in hot or not, this could be very, 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 very much indicative of another rate raise or not right here. So this is one to keep an eye on. We've been, last time we came in at 0.3, kind of expecting 0.3 again. We had 0.6 back here. 0.6, is that right? Yeah, 0.6. And kind of spiked up and then came back in. Not telling us a whole lot, but even though that's the Fed's favorite number, so that's still a trend of kind of increasing prices, the way I look at it. So we'll get to requests here in just a minute. And yeah, that's kind of close out the week. Remember, Monday, Memorial Day. Got to remember our veterans. And I'll probably post some cool pictures in Discord if I can get them from out there at Fort Bliss. All right. So, any questions on this so far? Any questions? Who's got the questions? Let's pop over. This is the morning monster list. Let's actually talk about the red list. S&P 500, right back in the box. Somebody that we all know was saying there was going to be a pullback. Not saying that we don't know this guy, but somebody we know was saying there was a pullback coming. And, well, looks like it happened. Now, this could be the end of the pullback. Like, that can be all we needed right there, right back between the bars on the ES. That was right where I was expecting it to go, right back to the top of the consolidation. We went there, we kind of tested it. ES actually hit right in the target where I was talking about this morning, that 13,700 level. In fact, that's kind of where it closed the day, right in there. That was all I needed. Well, we can go higher again and kind of churn this baby out. I've got more updated charts in Discord, kind of spelling out the exact little squiggles I expect. So that could be it. We don't have to drop more from here. Now, I am cautious. We could very well pull back more. This doesn't have to be the bottom. We can definitely go all the way down here, back to 11,700. This is a risk. This is a threat out in the market. All right. As I kind of have a continuing narrative here. I've been talking about the debt ceiling deal. If they play let's make a deal, we could get a pop. If they don't play let's make a deal, we could get a drop. And if they play let's make a deal, we could get a pop and then a drop. Like the drop is probably going to come regardless. It's probably going to be bigger than this little drop here because that little pullback here is nothing compared to some of these pullbacks we've seen back here. So this one, while that's all we really needed to be able to go higher and make a little higher high, we're probably going to make, probably just going to churn in this area before we get the bigger drop. Probably not a lot of upside left. Maybe as high as like 14.2 on Nasdaq. If you're unfamiliar with the chart I have up right now, that's Nasdaq futures. Like divide by 41 to get QQQ or NDX. Why do I use the futures? Because they don't leave a bunch of gaps in these charts. Futures trade almost 24/7. Well, really, it's like 23 hours a day. They're closed from 5 to 6, and then 5 days a week. They're closed on Saturday and most of Sunday, but they open on Sunday night. So, yes, they will open this Sunday, trade for a little while, then close down for Memorial Day, and then reopen again Monday night and start going again. So, that's the way futures work. ES is the S&P 500 futures, SPY, SPX, all those things. If you're unfamiliar, why, again, do I use these futures? Because they don't really leave many gaps in these charts. I don't like gaps for the way I measure things, so that's why I use these. All right, Russell right here. I was predicting probably we would see a return back down. Oh, look at that. Tested the roadmap line. Tested the roadmap line. I didn't even see this earlier. I saw it rallying, but I was busy in some webinars. Look at that. We hit the roadmap line and rejected hard, closing back in the box. That probably means we're going lower. That's a big red flag right there. That's very bearish. All right. Got to set a target here. Look, same same target. Beautiful. All right. Russell probably coming down here. And it could take a little while, but it's probably coming. It may go fast, but it's probably coming down here. It's probably going to make a lower low. Probably heading down to that 16.8 level. Now, what's the Russell? IWM. If you're unfamiliar, almost divide by 10. That's not quite perfect, but IWM, look at that, touching the roadmap line. If we did the same thing right here, off that high, looks like that high went all the way to the top of the roadmap line. Extension right down there, 165.70. That could be pretty good money right there. That's a big move. It's pretty likely. I mean, we do have potential support. There's like a last ditch possible thing it could save right there around that 173, 174 area, right in here. Possibly could retrace, find support there, and bounce higher and break out. I don't know. That looks pretty like this. This is classic continuation lower. Classic. So we have support right where these big fat candle bodies were, right here, right in there. On the future, if we don't hold that, probably going down here. This is, if Beth is on here, she was kind of razzing on me about high probability setups. And she's like, you double talk a lot, JT. I do, except when there's a high probability setup. I mean, you heard me say over and over for weeks, we were going to 13,700 on Nasdaq for months almost. I was pretty dang confident. The bullish setup was there. It was a high probability setup to go tag that prior high from August. This is one of those high probability setups. We have a resistance here. Once we get below it, high probability to drop out down here. All right, that's your two levels. That's your below that's confirmation, and there's the target. All right, moving on. Oil still churning at the top of the box. Looks like, I mean, that could have been the low, but this is not bullish price action here. I think this is going to roll over, make that lower low, probably test that same 618 50% retrace area on oil. If we don't hold it, down there is the target. Basically the same pattern. This is the Russell pattern right there. Look, we popped up, bounced off the roadmap line, down to that 618. We don't hold it, down to the extension. Same pattern. This just happened back here in April, and the Russell is doing it right now. All right. TGO is Top Gun Options. That's run by my friend Matthew Buckley. Call sign Wiz. All right. I got friends. Valerie, I got friends. All right. Brent crude oil. And this is European crude. Just looks pretty bad. I mean, that looks like it can roll over and go lower. Doesn't it? Gasoline. Look at that. Potentially breaking higher. Even like everybody that says oil and gas are correlated. Look at this. Oil hanging out down here, messing around, looking like it's going to go lower. Gasoline. Distillates are in a shortage. If you didn't know, this thing can break out. And this thing can break out in a big way. And that's going to cause a lot of pain. We can't just go building refineries and fix this problem. Natural gas right here, just messing around at the lows. Found resistance right there where I thought. And that's not bullish. That's potentially bearish. For a move down to, back down to the lows, possibly even as low as $1.50 on natural gas. GC looking like it is going to truck right back down to the roadmap line. Now, at this point, you may be saying, JT, Jeffrey, how do I get that roadmap line? Well, guess what? On YouTube, I have a video from right around Christmas, New Year's time, in the live stream tab that shows you how. It gives you the code for free. And if you want to join and get the code handed to you with instructions and a masterclass and a list every week of how to use it, link is in the description. It's like $5. I mean, come on. So, silver, look at that, beautiful. This is a potential bounce right here. We break out above this. I've been tracking this a couple days. I'm going to set an alert right here. We break back above this, and certainly above that blue line right there. It's on like Donkey Kong for this target up here on silver. Probably going to 30, possibly 35. So I'm going to load up on SLV probably, and maybe a couple other things. Keep an eye on that one. This is one to watch. This one's probably going to go. It's probably going to be the next. I'd say it might take 1 to 2 years to get all the way to the top. All right, that's a longer term, longer horizon trade. I'm going to be all over this one. Probably going to load up my parents even. Gold is not quite there. Silver looking hot. HG is not. And then that one looks like it's poking lower. Probably going to crush down into this area down here. Quite possibly. And Goose, I know you're chasing FCX. Be careful, my man. This does not have to hold right here. This can drop. Look what we're doing. Low, low, low. Trying to poke through. We may come back, bounce off, and then come down. Be careful. He's always chasing. Lumber has a new ticker. I watched a webinar about this. I was caught a little unaware that they were discontinuing LBS. They went to, this new lumber is based on a truckload of lumber and has a little volatility as we switched over from LBS to LBR. The pricing not the same as we used to have. We don't have the history anymore, but probably going to chug off back to the lows on lumber. And that's kind of what we got here. Now, Bitcoin, let's pull that one up really quickly. Bitcoin, hanging out, holding on to this box for dear life right here. I do kind of expect one spike down, touch the roadmap line, and then we're off to the races. Probably going to go up to that 32,000 area at least. And then we'll see what kind of resistance we have up there. Could be as high as 40,000, but we'll see. It didn't really take off and go. It's just kind of farting around down here. So probably 32,000, where that big green line is right there. That's probably the next extension before we do another retrace. But first, I do think we're going to come down here, tag that roadmap line. All right. That's kind of the market outlook. That's kind of the big picture, what I'm expecting for the next week or two or three, or in some cases like silver, a couple years. So let's pick up some tickers out of the things. IWM, I kind of covered that already. Watch those levels. If it just, I mean, it's possible that despite that resistance there, where it's made a tail, a bigger tail, and an even bigger tail today, that a couple more days, we just end up here and break out and go. That's possible, but not the high probability setup right now. High probability setup, we crush down through that and go lower low. All right, NVIDIA is pushing the limits here. 339 is kind of my limit for now. If we get up into that 330, 339 area, watch out for a bigger, longer retrace that could just go sideways for a little while. NVIDIA is looking a little played out. That this move has been wicked, straight up, without much relief. Be careful. A bigger pullback could be in store for NVIDIA. Amazon, getting there. We need to break above 120. That can take us right back up to this August high. This one is lagging. This has opportunity to catch up. Look. Let's compare it right here. QQQ sitting right at the August highs. All right, that means Amazon, that is upwards of 25% less than the August highs, has that kind of 27% now today with that little pullback. 27% that one can run just to catch up. Now QQQ could pull back and they kind of meet in the middle, but it still hasn't tested that August high. Let me pull the bar out of the way there. That August high hasn't been tested on Amazon. So this is opportunity. Is Amazon doing that poorly? I don't think so. I think it was overly punished on the downside, and it has opportunity to catch back up. Remember, they're not just a retail company, despite what everybody seems to think. They have a ton of cloud computing and AI and Alexa and all these things that listen to you all the time. Echoes and Ring cameras, and they're building a giant network that's like, what do they call it? LoRaWAN. It made big news. It's called the Sidewalk Network. They've got a lot of things happening here that if the market wakes back up, they could catch up quickly. So I would not discount Amazon's potential to catch back up. And I had a target out here in July. I may run out of time before I get there, but I may have to extend my trade. All right, Mora is just sitting on the roadmap line, not doing a lot. It's not really being super interesting when we just turn right here in a small, tight range. Just not interesting. We covered BTC, Ethereum. Looks like it wants to run down and touch the roadmap line. Potentially a bigger, deeper retrace down to here, especially on that move right there. We could extend down here, but right now, just looking for the roadmap line test around 1700. Came up a little shy back here a couple weeks ago, May 12th. All right, and BITO, holding on to the roadmap line. Look for this one to bounce. This one is a little advanced of Bitcoin. Now, one thing to note on Bitcoin, look at something really quickly. Look right here. We did this consolidation and pop, and then we've kind of done a volatile retrace. Now, that reminds me a lot of what I'm looking at. Oop, missed one. But we did this consolidation. We did this pop. Are we going to do a volatile retrace? Bitcoin could be leading the market right now. So that's one to keep an eye on, is that Nasdaq could go the way that Bitcoin has gone the last couple weeks. Bitcoin could have, this could be the lead right here from a month early, could be leading by a month. We may be looking at this kind of volatile, choppy action for a month on NQ. which if you look at the seasonality, pull this over, look at the seasonality on Nasdaq, June, choppy. The story kind of coming together a little bit. We could see a choppy Nasdaq in June and pull back just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin could be leading this sucker. So don't discount that, all right? Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. All right, popping the chat back up. And rolling on down. Airbnb. Oh, gotta click back on the chart. Yeah, I got my keyboard fixed. I bought this little doodad that extends my, it has a little dongle in the back of the computer. I bought a cable that puts it right there next to the keyboard. No more keyboard problems. Airbnb, that looks like it's sitting in consolidation at the lows. That could break down. I would be careful. That doesn't look like anything I want to trade. CROX was being strong, but now it's not. Probably going to extend down to the orange zone now that we're below the roadmap line. Probably going back to retest this area. Despite crazy good earnings, not getting a crazy good reaction. And we're below the lows here. That's no bueno for holding on here. Next move down to back to support over here. I could do the fibs and all that stuff, but it's pretty clear. We're probably going to go retest that at this point. And it would be no big surprise if there's fibs that line right up with it. Coin is trying to break out, but it cannot. It keeps hitting its head on the roadmap line. Sideways is the big arrow I drew all the way back here in, March, February? Yeah, February. Drew a big sideways. When we failed to break out over here, failed to break out again, failed to break down, just churning sideways until the crypto market does something. This one is dependent on the crypto to do something. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, gotta do something. The longer they sit sideways, the more this one's gonna sit sideways. The more Mara is gonna sit sideways. The more Riot's gonna sit sideways. The only one that seems to be not following the plan is this one. BTBT keeps marching higher. I have a $3 target and then a $5 target. All right. NIO. That's consolidating. Consolidating at the lows. It's not a stretch to push on down. $8 is not a long way from zero. Be careful. This sucker can go out of business. Although I don't know that the CCP would let it go out of business, but that's not the kind of thing I want to put my money into. China garbage. PLTR. I was up pretty good on that one. Right in the target. We could see a move on up into 15. I would be careful. Probably going to get a retrace at some point here. We do have this prior high right here to go contend with, about 1460, 1480. Depends on if you count the tail or the body. Probably resistance right up in there. So caution. Bigger term, I am long a bigger term trade, looking for higher targets up here around 20. Possibly even go retest the prior highs up here at 40s. But we got a lot of work to do before we get up there. So probably going to get a retrace somewhere, some kind of reaction off of this prior high. And then Cisco. I am long PLTR if I didn't say that. Out to 2025. Got leaps. I bought a synthetic position in leaps. Yeah. Cisco, it looks pretty good. Got to get through that resistance. See that little gap down? That's resistance. We've hit our head once, twice, 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row. That can lead to a deeper retrace. I wouldn't jump on it until it's back up here. Set alert, actually. All right. That's it for that one. Moving on down. BRKB. Posted this in. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Right up. Bounced off the 1618. Probably going to retrace back to the roadmap line. Classic. Found resistance. Next move, retrace. It could hold right here. Could hold that box. We get below it, probably going here. May go a little deeper. That's, you know, history's told us we may see it go below the roadmap line just a little bit before it finds support. These things tend to echo. All right. And the roadmap line is just the 169 and 144 EMAs put together with a little cloud. Nothing crazy. Just happens to be support and resistance for Elliott Wave. Wow, you know. Oh my gosh, Elliott Wave, you said something crazy. Yeah, I use Elliott Wave to make all these predictions. All this stuff is based on Elliott Wave. All the fibs, all the extensions, all the patterns. It's a theory that our subconscious minds, as you know, animals as we are, we all kind of work in this herd mentality, and we do the same freaking patterns on all these charts. It just happens to happen over and over and over. You might say, oh, but all the algos. Guess what? We program the algos. We put our subconscious bias into the algos. It just keeps doing the patterns. So it blows your mind when you really start thinking about it. All right, Netflix. Little pullback. Couldn't get through the prior high. Probably gonna do. Quite likely to do that pullback right back to that consolidation before the next extension. And I betcha. Oh yeah, 1618 right there. That was about as big as we could do. We get down into this area right in here where we gapped up, retest it. We can go higher again. Probably gonna go up here and fill this gap, fill about 500 area. And it's going to take a while. Like this is a trade out to the fall for it to rally up this 500 area. Maybe even into next year. Probably going to keep working its way up there. It's a long term, maybe out to 2024 before we get up there. In fact, we'll put a target over here, something like this. That's where I think Netflix is going. All right. Tesla. There's Beth. Hey, Beth. I was talking about you a minute ago. Hope your ears weren't burning. Tesla, look at that. Right up to the roadmap line. Rejecting. Scares me. That can retrace. Be careful. All right. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. I don't know how many times I can say it. Be careful. Please be careful. Bounce off of that. Can take it right back into this area where we had the consolidation. Right back over in here. We hold that, it's positive. If we don't hold that, it's negative for an extension lower, just like the Russell, just like oil. Same patterns over and over and over. Now, if we can get up through the roadmap line, we're probably going to break out of this downtrend line and rally up and test the bigger downtrend line. Same story I've been saying for months and months on Tesla. Downtrend line, probably go test it. That's the true test. Otherwise, we're still in a downtrend, and be freaking careful, please. Google. Trying to break out, found resistance. Imagine that, right at the prior high. Got above it, that's bullish. Holding above it, that's bullish. Breaking out over this little topping right there. That's the first indication. That's the aggressive entry for a move up to this 144 area. Does it have to do it? No, it can break right back down, come all the way back down to here. But we did the high probability thing, tested that high. Same patterns over and over, same things I talk about over and over. Next high up right there, and then the highs, all-time highs up here at 150. Of course, that's the post-split all-time high. All right, Meta. Oh, beautiful. Man, I should have gotten into, when I said it was doing this back here, I should have gotten into a synthetic. That thing's going to fill that gap. It's going up to 320. It's going to take a while, probably out into the fall. May get there a little faster than, what was the last one? Netflix. May get there a little faster than Netflix does. I mean, this is right up to the bottom of the gap here. Gonna start chugging in here. Chugging, 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 chugging. May take into the fall. I expect that to go fill that gap right up in there. All right, that's nothing surprising there. I put that giant arrow on there all the way back in January, I think it was. February. Yeah. End of January, February. Just doing the thing. All right, next up, Microsoft. I'd be careful on this one. This is kind of popping. Like that's ridiculous straight up with no pullbacks. We're above that prior high. Could extend out, get the all-time high. Very cautious. This is, people loaded up on this on the AI play, kind of like the NVIDIA. At some point, that has to come back to the roadmap line. It just has to. Like nothing goes up and runs away from the roadmap line forever. I mean, look at NVIDIA over here. Crazy big move up and then crazy move right back down to the roadmap line, then chopped around and then broke below and extended down. Be careful. This big move up, sideways until we ran into it, and then we got some energy to start moving up again. So we could go sideways until we run into the roadmap line again. Could be all the way out into 2024. Whatever point we run out of gas, we're a long way from the roadmap line right now. When I say a long way, check this out. Right up there like that. And we're looking like 36%. That's a 36% pullback, 37% pullback potential right there. So Microsoft, this is one where is the downside worth it, right? Right now we're looking at 14% pullback potential to get back to the roadmap line. All right, not quite as bad as NVIDIA, but that's still, there's a lot of airspace between there. Please be careful, for heaven's sakes. Whoop, I typed the wrong thing. KLIC, I don't even know how I got on a 3-month chart. Look at that, that's the potential play right there. This is a longer term play. This is not short term stuff. This pullback took, that pullback took 62 days, 2 months, a little over. That's trading days, so it's actually like 3 months. So 3 times that to go up, potentially take, I don't know, like 180 days, 6 months, maybe longer to get up in this area. Pretty good trade though. Going from 50 to 73, not too bad. About a 50% gain on the shares. Everything looks good so far. Good long term, then pull back and go even higher, potentially out the 80s. Really nice looking. All right. Hershey's is going back to the roadmap line. Potential to come all the way back down, although it can hold an echo type pattern. Echo pattern, something like that. And a little deep for that. I don't know. That looks a little deep right there. Could go, let's see. Let's compare this one. If it did that, up, yep, right back to the roadmap line. If it did this one, back to the roadmap line. Same general vicinity. Looks like we might be in store for the roadmap line on Hershey's. I did buy a call on a potential reversal over here. That got voided with these last 2 days, and now we see what sets up. So Home Depot worked, Hershey's did not. All right, Riley. I bought some shares of this, looking for this move back up to this high right over here around 46. So Stuck on the roadmap line. That's not bullish immediately, but if we can break above that high at 40, probably coming back up to these highs over here. Notice that was long-term, kind of long-term support, or long-term resistance, 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 resistance. Probably going to have a little trouble getting through that. That's your first indication, is that we've hit the top right there a whole bunch of times. So don't be surprised if we stop right there around 45. Alrighty, ZS, Z-scaler. Stuck on the roadmap line. And right, look, why did it poke up to that point and then retrace today? Because that's where the gap was from back here in March. Those highs just above us. Probably go retrace back down, retest that consolidation, and then try to go for those highs. If it gets above that, then we have to contend with these highs right over here. If we can get through all that, we'll see. See, that's a classic bounce off the roadmap line. Didn't hold the support. Lower low. Classic. Just what I expect on oil, on Russell, on all those ones I've said that on. This one can do it again right here. It does not have to hold that. It can go down one more time. Same pattern over and over. It's the same pattern up and down. So this thing might retrace to here. 107, 102, 107 area right there. Can't find support there. It can go lower low again. You might say, but JT, semiconductors, they're hot. Well, they don't have to be. I mean, look at that chart. I mean, that's not hot. That doesn't look like AMD or NVIDIA right there. That looks like some gnarly stuff right there. And that one's probably going lower. All right, keep it in mind. MU, and another semi that's not going crazy. I mean, this one has potential to run up here. So far, it's just farting around just out of the wedge. All right, WDAY. Looking kind of gnarly, right up to resistance. It's got to get above that $200 area. Otherwise, if it can't clear those prior highs, you know, JT, I don't see the prior high. Let me zoom it up for you. Right there. See that high? Rejected right there. Why do I draw these boxes? Because they're going to be support and resistance. All right. We've got support down here. We bounced right off of it. We came back up here, right to the resistance. If we can't get above that, we're coming back down. Retest the roadmap line at the minimum, if not the lows. Don't expect anything but sideways. Just sideways, choppy bullcrap. All right, yeah. So, NVIDIA price to sales is what you got to look at, not just price to earnings. Price to sales on NVIDIA right now, during the AI craze, is kind of similar to what we saw price to sales on Amazon back in the .com bubble. And not price to earnings, but price to sales. So, all right. PLTR, we already did that one. CCL, looking like might be breaking above, but oh, look at that. Same. Resistance at the high. Rejected. Gets above it, then we got to contend with the highs right here. Could do it, but 1618. Yeah, needs a retrace back to the roadmap line. Got to get more energy. That takes a monster bunch of energy out of a stock to run up to the 1618. Then it's got to retrace, gather more energy. So probably come back to the roadmap line. All right, PEP, PEP. Ha. Well, it went to the arrow. Went a little higher than the arrow first, but it came down to the arrow. How do you know? That was one that True. That just surprised me that I had an arrow and it did that. I don't know. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes. If you keep coming back and watching, a lot of times I get it right. I don't know. It's kind of freaky. So check it out right there. Where'd that arrow come from? That move right there. Yeah. If it can't find support right there and turn back up, and why right there? Look, this pullback to the roadmap line popped up, got a little higher than the 1272, couldn't make it. That's why I expected it to turn down lower than it did, but ran out of steam, retraced right back to the point from where it broke out. This is a classic pattern. This right here, so we had the ultimate high right there, but we had these other highs just below that. That's where it came down, found support. The next move, I would expect, right up here, the 199. It retested those highs, held support. If it doesn't, down to the roadmap line, and then start over again. Yeah, this target would be void if it pulls down to the roadmap line. We'd start over with a new fib. All right, that's PEP for now. Amazon, we already did. BTBT, we already kind of did. Touched on it briefly. Looking for $3 and then $5 above that. You know, $2.93, $3 area, and then probably the $5 area. Why? Because it's a giant measured bounce setup that looks beautiful. May get a retrace from here back to the roadmap line. That's like 1618 right there. Highly expect it to retrace to the back to the roadmap line after some move like that before the next move out. Okay, ONTO. 45 minutes. Yeah, probably going to come up here and retest the highs. That's next stop, that orange box. Not a lot left. We get above that, and let's see, what can we look for? That high to that low. Next resistance to be 120. Right up there. Probably come up there, retrace back to the breakout point. Same pattern all the time. Same things. These things happen all the time. Once I learned it, I started being able to predict this stuff. Right like that. Break above, retrace back, move the extension. Could go a little higher. It doesn't have to stop. I mean, it could go as high as 125. Could get a little overexcited. Come back. If it doesn't hold support there, it may come all the way back to the roadmap line. Draw it kind of in here. So if it doesn't hold support there, could come back down to here. Pretty simple, right? Once I draw it on there. All right, ON. Extension 93, that's failed at the prior high. That's the only questionable action there. If it holds right here and goes for another attempt, probably 91, maybe as high as 96. Unclear right now. Failed the breakout. 92 and 100. Had to put my lower low there. That was a beautiful three wave. Look, 1, 2, 3. Really pretty. Oh, perfect echo. That one, there's a high percent chance we go out to 92. How long? Maybe out to June. High chance. Better than 50%? Yeah, better than 50%. Probably like 70% chance we get up there. All right. PFE. That one has some drug news. Sledge, you were playing the Wagurno, whatever, Ozempic. This is an oral competitor that's potentially going to get approved. Could be big for Pfizer, like mega big. Like this could be 62, like double the stock big. I'd be waiting for a break above here though. All right, Fubo is garbage. How many people can name anybody that has Fubo? I don't know anybody. Zero is not that far. Don't trade garbage. But JT, if it goes from $1.75 to $3.50, I just doubled my money. Yeah, it's a dangerous game. If it goes from $1.75 to zero, you just lost 100% of your money. Please be careful playing garbage. KRE is probably going to go lower if the banking sector has more problems, which nothing has been resolved so far. We just did the same pattern. We extended out to the 1272, retraced back to the same point where we had consolidation, found rejection, probably going to extend. The next target down is 25, right here. Same pattern, upside down. Blast out to the 1272, retrace back to the 100, the point from where we broke out. Extension 1618, 161.8% extension. Same pattern, upside down. All right. COF, I'm going to have to speed up a little bit. COF stuck at the roadmap line. Could break out here. Could break out. Could do it. Got resistance built up in here. Yeah, right at resistance. Got to get above that stuff before I'd be interested in it. CRSP. Yeah, I don't like biotechs. They don't move according to the patterns all the time. Makes it tough. Ever there was one that did not obey. Biotechs are one, leveraged instruments are the other. Like 3x stuff doesn't always hit the targets. In fact, more often than not, it misses targets when you do the leverage stuff. That's why you should go to the underlyings like the futures for anything that's leveraged. So this one has some resistance like that, and then a big old blob on top of there. I'd watch out for it to bounce off of that. Let's see, CVX. Just chopping. Ruined a great pattern. Was looking super hot, and then now it's not. Not much to say there. That can go lower. That can be an extension type situation where we just push lower. 144. Getting near these other lows. HD. Bounced off the roadmap line today, I do believe. Oh, almost. Got close. Close, but no cigar. It's probably going to find resistance there. It gets above that, that's positive, but as long as it stays below that area and below that roadmap line, that is not extremely positive. That is a high ATR stock. I mean, look at that. Went from 282 up to 292, $10 candle. Today's candle, 289 to a high of 297. That's an $8 candle. Be careful playing this stuff. You can lose a bunch of money really quickly. Options are expensive. I played that reversal, made a few bucks, got off, moved on. All right. Lowe's had good numbers today. That was on the morning monster. Positive, but it's like the same candle that Home Depot did, just on top of the roadmap line instead of below the roadmap line. Still got resistance right there. Got to break out. Yeah. Stuck. Boot. That one's, I saw it positive, yeah. that's potentially the bottom right there. Be careful. I'd watch for it needs to fill this gap and be above the roadmap line before I recommend anybody get into it. I bought a small position out as far as I could go. It may not be enough time because they didn't have the leaps that these are not the leaps you wanted. So be careful on that one. Shares would be a much better idea if you're going to play that one long. Target's all the way up here, like 102 to 113. All right, CMG. Almost to the target land. That may be all she does. Like, that may have been close enough. I mean, if we pull the target over, we hit in the target. That could be it. That could be all the way back down to the roadmap line at this point. I would be very careful. That was the target. Nothing left on the upside for me. Now we could just retrace the 100% and go for this 1618. That was a mega move. I mean, mega move. Right there, it's 44% gain. That's due a pullback. Alrighty, EXPE. And just stuck under the roadmap line. That's going sideways. Nothing. Big fat nothing. I wouldn't touch it. And AMD. There's the target. We're in the target. Like, I closed out. I am not in AMD any longer. Like, that's it. That was it. Could go up to 115. Could. But that was the target. Do a retrace at this point. That was it. I've been on that since, what, February? Maybe January? I was on that one. I closed it out. I'm done. AMD, I'm done. There's nothing else for me for now. If you chase it now, you're likely to lose money. CPG? CMG was Chipotle. CPG is Crest Point Energy, and that looks like a sideways hot mess. BMY does not look like it's going up. That looks like it's going down. What part of that chart looks like it's going up? That's just a little extension away from getting down to 64. I mean, let's be reasonable here. That is not a bullish chart. Don't trade garbage. I mean, not that the company's garbage, but that chart is garbage. Don't trade garbage charts. All right, did PEP, did BTBT, did PFE, COP. I did COF, right? Yeah, COP stuck below the roadmap line. That can extend lower. Be careful. I would not. I'm not interested in that until it's above the roadmap line and making higher highs, not lower highs. Same with like VLO. Yeah, looking bad. Same with XOM. Stuck on the roadmap line. Not doing the thing. Be careful. All right. That's not bullish thing right now. Let's see. What's the one everybody likes? OXY? That's bearish. That's below the roadmap line. I don't care what Warren Buffett bought $10 trillion in it. That's not a bullish chart. That's sideways to bearish garbage. All right. Let's see. DKS. Retrace to the roadmap line. Can it turn up here? Well, sure, it could. Does it have to? No. It can retrace right on deeper down to 120. It's below the support at the close today. That can go lower. DIS. That one definitely looks like it's going back down. Going down in a blaze of glory. Going down in a rainbow colored flag. Got targets here. And then down below here. And then the target that we missed back here would be beautiful. That's below all kinds of support, so watch out below for Disney. All right, did ZS. All right, need my support line. What do you need, Penny? You're my VIP crew. Here, I'll throw the customer support number in. There you go. There is the... You can always hit me in Discord. I can reset your password or whatever you might need. Just let me know. You got the VIP chat. So, just let me know, Penny. Penny is a VIP Inner Circle member. If you're interested in being a VIP Inner Circle member, you can call the number there, and we'll get you hooked up. So, all right, XOP. It did not come up. There we go, XOP. Look, say that's the same as like of several of those charts I just looked at. That does not look bullish. I mean, that's drifting off. I mean, that almost looks like OXY, XOP. Just gnarly. That's not bullish. And in fact, it looks a lot like the CL chart, which is kind of bearish. A lot of bearish. Looking for lower lows. Don't chase this stuff. I don't care what the mainstream media says. It doesn't have to go up at this point. I've been bearish on oil since back here when we dropped off the highs. If you've been paying attention, for over a year. I mean, it took us forever to get down to my targets here. Right there was finally the target. Then we bounced up, bounced off the roadmap line. That was a bearish bounce, and we can go lower. Be careful. VDE. That still looks bearish. So, EXS or XES. I mean, that still looks bearish. Like, it's all bearish. It just is. There's not energy that I'm like, hey, that looks pretty hot. I mean, even the alternate stuff, that's going to retrace more than likely. You know, EMPH, I've been holding on to this target down here. Like, we got a support right there. We get below it, we're probably going to go down to this target. And we got down to the bottom of the arrow. So, and we're not bottomed yet in energy. We still got some stuff to work through. All right. So please be careful. Cost right here is in this freaking wedge thing, and gotta update my lines. Oh, market's back open. Futures are back open. So there we go. Looks like my mother-in-law sent me a message. So we got this big, what I call a watermelon seed squeeze play. This started out right back here on this high in March of 22. We dropped, we popped, we dropped, we popped, we dropped, we popped, we dropped, we popped. Squiggle, 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 right down to the end of the triangle. You know what happens when you squeeze a watermelon seed? Anybody know? Yeah, David, all you have to do is pull the little slider back and it's all recorded. It's on YouTube already. You can go back to the beginning. So, squeeze the watermelon seed. It pops, right? Shoots out of your fingers eventually if you squeeze hard enough. Which way does it go? I don't know. Incredibly difficult to predict which way it's going. This thing can pop. This thing can drop. This is my watermelon seed squeeze play. Right here. This range, this initial range, it can go up that high and it can go down that high, especially after consolidating for that long. Unreliable. Completely unreliable. Be careful. This can go down just as easily as it goes up. And that's a massive, massive range right there. They got 400-point range potential. All right. IBM. Look, that's another one. You know, not overly bullish right here. Potential for it to be a measured bounce, but we got to get above this roadmap line and above this high. And it could potentially be a measured bounce, but that's still the lowest low in this series. And that's still a lower high in this series right here. You don't have to look back here. Like, look, see these little squiggles, these little swing highs? Swing low, swing high, swing lower low, swing lower high, swing lower low, swing lower high. As long as we're in lower highs and lower lows, that's a downtrend. It's been in a downtrend since December. All right. Yeah, I've been going for a little over an hour. Glad to have everybody. This is recorded. It was on live on YouTube here. If you're tuning in later, I'm sorry you missed the live chat, but you can catch me tomorrow morning if you hit the little bell thing with the little doodads. Turn it to all notifications. I go live tomorrow morning, probably about 9:10, 9:15, somewhere in there. And we'll cover what's popping, what's dropping, what's up from how the market's set up for the day, my bias for the day, what I'm watching, and stay safe out there. The account you save may be your own. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks for coming. I couldn't do this without y'all. Thank you for coming. If you want to come join me in Discord, links in the description.